So what are the key qualities I should look for when hiring top performers? For me, when I look at hiring top performers, the first thing I look for is culture and fit. It doesn't matter how great that person is. If they don't fit your culture, then they're not going to work out in the long run. So that's kind of number one. The second thing I always look for is their drive. I mean, if I want a top performer, I want somebody that's driven, that is going to every day get up and get going and do everything on their own without me sitting there feeling like I'm pulling them the whole time. So those are really, for me, the top performers, the two big things that I personally look for. You go through all the effort of getting top talent onto the team. You don't want to lose them. A big part of that is maintaining your culture in a way that will retain that talent. Nothing frustrates top talent more than being somewhere where they feel like they're stagnant or cannot grow, cannot do the things that they want to do. Culture is a big part of that. So for me, it's about, empowering them, giving them the rope, the rein to be able to make decisions on their own, be able to have a huge impact like they want to. It's allowing nobody to be stagnant on the team. That's going to be a frustration to them, because if you have a bunch of great, talented people that work with others that either slow them down or drag them down, they're not going to stay. They're going to leave. They're going to be frustrated. And so they're going to look for somewhere else that's a better fit for where they want to be in their career. So that's really key to me, is you have to maintain a culture that drives everybody for success and doesn't allow for that frustration to be there for those top talent people. So there's some different strategies that you can use to improve your company's employee engagement and productivity. For me, with engagement, one of the things that I really push is to have our team members involved in certain committees that are, team building, volunteering, different leadership roles to where they can push themselves to improve and grow and develop. So to me, if you're going to engage the team, you have to give them the opportunity to work on the team, within the team. And so that's how you really engage them, is you give them free rein to do that. The other things that you'll find is that you're way more productive when you have input from the whole. When any team member feels like they can identify something that can be improved and communicate that, and then actions taken to make it happen, that's a great feeling. You are willing and able to identify those opportunities and engage with the rest of the team to make it happen. So when you're talking about top talent and you're talking about the benefits and perks that you need in order to obtain top talent, it's not always about money. You look and see, and I know there's a lot of information out there as far as surveys and data. A lot of people don't do it just for the money. Money is important. You got to be able to pay your bills, do the things that you want to do. But for most top talent, to me, they want to be, again, empowered to make the changes that they want to make. They want to be given the free rein to just go, go at their own pace, take care of what they feel like needs to be taken care of, and not be micromanaged or smothered. You want to, fan the flame, so to speak, and so that way they can really do as well as they can. So other benefits, besides just the ability to move at the pace they want to move, to me, a lot of it is that growth potential, to give as little of a ceiling as possible. That way they feel like they can grow. So open-ended structure with pay to where it's not capped, truly, to me, is a way that you can really retain that top talent. They know that as long as they strive and work hard, that they can go as far as they want to go on their own without feeling that ceiling is there. So that's another major benefit to me that top talent needs. Every company wants to have as little turnover as possible, and you do that through building loyalty with your team. I know there's a lot of job hoppers out there that go from one company to the next. So how do you build that loyalty? How do you retain that team? The first thing is just open and honest communication. They understand what they need to do. You have clear expectations, so that way there's no frustration there. You listen to them, to what their needs are as a team member, and you try to do your best to meet those needs. But more than anything, again, everything's built on trust. So it's just having enough of a relationship, building enough trust with them. That way they can come to you with any issues, questions, and feel like you're there to support them. And if you do those things, you're going to have a very loyal team, and you're going to have a very low turnover, which is super beneficial as an employer. In order to improve and grow, one of the things that you're going to need to do is establish feedback from your team. You don't get anywhere without understanding what needs to change, what needs to improve. And in order to get that feedback, you have to have a couple things in place. First one is trust. If I'm going to go and talk to you and point out something that needs to improve, there needs to be enough trust that I'm not just complaining, that I'm trying to get things better, make things better. The other thing is that there's that accessibility, that they know as a team member they can come and talk to you about those things, and that's not just off limits. So you have to have an open door policy. You have to personally reach out, ask questions. Even earlier today, I literally sent a new team member a message asking how her onboarding experience went, if there was any feedback for that experience that would make the process better. So you have to be proactive yourself in order to get that feedback, and sometimes it's literally asking for it and not just waiting for it to come to you. But all those things are important, because if you never ask, you never get that feedback, you're going to find it a lot harder to improve and understand where you can grow. If you ever had someone on your team that you consider to be top talent leave, and you ask yourself why did this person leave? You waited too long. You need to ask, be proactive and ask about how things are going, whether or not they're in a good spot. Be really forthcoming and candid with what their situation is, because top talent, again, the number one reason you lose them is they feel stagnant, they feel confined. And so you have to give them that freedom to act. You have to give them that space to work in. And the only way to know that they're feeling that they have that room, that space, is to ask that question. So asking, being observant, and not letting yourself be blind to maybe issues on the team or other situations that are impacting them that makes them feel stagnant or confined. I tell people, because if I have a director and they have a team member that's asking about other opportunities, or there's signs, it's not just like, oh, randomly somebody's unhappy and they're leaving. There's signs. They're either looking for other opportunities or asking. So you have to really have your blinders on to not identify when you have a top talent leaving. You have, again, signs that will indicate there's a problem and I need to fix it. So one of the big factors that is talked about a lot is that work-life balance. You have high expectations, you have demands, and you have to balance that out in order to not be burnt out, in order to not crash and burn. So for me, one of the things that I encourage people is to just break it down. What are the bite-sized steps in order to achieve those goals? Understand, are they even achievable? Because that's one of the things that I would encourage, quantify. If you can break it down and say, hey, this is, with my resources, what I have available to me, this is a doable goal. Or, in order to hit this number, if you truly want that, I need X resources. So understand what it's going to take to get there, break it down into steps. And so that way it's not all at once. It's not just that full, big, overwhelming picture. It's that one small step that's going to get you there. And success is just small steps repeated time and time again until you get there. And that's how you go about it. You would love to have nothing but top performers, but the reality is that's not likely. You're gonna have a mix, but that's where, for me, you gotta understand everybody on the team, not just your top performers, and you gotta give opportunities to everybody on the team. And they may not take them, but the main thing is you give the opportunity. You don't just assume. And then, with us, we do the GPSs because we want to push people quarterly with goals to grow, because you naturally will have people on the team that just don't want to do it on their own. And so in addition, with those top performers, you can't just say that's good enough for everybody else. You got to poke and prod and encourage them to be more, to do more, and to grow. Otherwise, even if you move somebody just a little bit, that's just a little bit better, and that compounds when you talk about a larger company and can end up resulting in much better success. As the CEO of MyHR Pros, a lot of people think of the pyramid with the CEO on the top. I like to invert that pyramid and think of myself as on the bottom. My job, my goal is support the rest of the team. And so that's, listening to their needs and understanding what I can do in order to make them successful. Being the go-to when you have a problem and it's like, hey, I need help. So as the CEO here at MyHR Pros, it's about supporting all of my team members that work with me and not just sitting there at the top expecting them to do all the heavy lifting. That's not how it needs to work. If any of this resonates with you and you want to talk to somebody about what you can do to improve your company and kind of improve your team and where you're at, MyHR Pros would be happy to help answer any questions. So give us a call.